Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the front sway bar link on this 2008 Chevy Silverado. If you need this part or other parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. I'm going to take a 22mm socket. I'm just going to take this center cap off, loosen up these plastic covers. If you have to use a ratchet, you can use a ratchet. Pull that off. Take my same 22mm socket and a breaker bar. I'm going to loosen up these lug nuts. Now we're going to raise and support the vehicle. We're using a 2-post lift. If you're doing this at your house, you can use a jack and jack stands. I'll remove these lug nuts. Now I'll take the last lug nut off. Take the wheel off. We're going to take some rust penetrant. We're just going to spray it on this sway bar link. We're going to take a 15mm wrench, slide it over the nut, then I'm going to use a 15mm socket and a ratchet for the lower, and loosen this up. This is on there pretty tight, so now I'm going to use a ratchet wrench. Once it's cracked free, it'll be a little bit quicker. Loosen up this nut. Take that nut off. Rubber bushing right here. I'm just going to take it off with a trim tool. Just try to pry underneath here. Pry that out, slide that off, spray some more rust penetrant in there. Let that soak for a little bit. Just gonna take some locking pliers, just lock this right here. Try to turn with the 15mm socket and ratchet. Try to turn the bolt. It's pretty rusty. Right now it's frozen in the middle there. It's not turning very well. Just trying to turn it back and forth. So because this sway bar link is frozen against its frozen to the bolt that's going through it because of the rust. New England, it's pretty rusty here. I had to disconnect the other sway bar link from the other side so I can actually move this sway bar. I'll just take a pry bar, just get underneath here, pry up, just to get that off. Then I can take a trim tool. I'm going to start by taking this rubber grommet off, just slide up underneath here. Just like that. Pry that off. And this plastic piece is pretty stuck in there, so I'm actually going to cut it off. I'm actually going to use an air-powered cutoff wheel. We're going to slice down the side of this link right here. It is plastic, so it should cut pretty easily. I just sliced it down the center, and I can take a trim tool or a straight blade screwdriver, just try to pry this apart a little bit. Normally you wouldn't have to do this if this wasn't so rusted. This rod, the bolt should slide right down. This one's pretty bad. I'm just gonna take a smaller pry bar and a hammer. You can use a chisel. Just try to bang this up a little bit. It's okay if I break it more because we're not reusing it. There we go, it's starting to move. Slide that off. And just take this other rubber grommet off. Slide the bolt out. I'm going to install this sway bar link. Just take this apart. I'm going to take the nut off, take this bushing off. I'm going to slide this apart. This center piece should stay together like that. Line this up with the hole right there. Line the stud all the way through the center. Slide the bar down. Pull that into position. To help with installing this, I'm just going to use a pry bar. Just go underneath the frame, slide it down. Then I'll take this upper grommet, push that on. So with the pry bar prying down, get the nut started. Once that's started, we can remove the pry bar. I'm going to use a 15mm wrench. Just put it on that nut up top, and then a 15mm socket and a ratchet on the bottom. Depending on the sway bar link itself, your sizes might be different. Tighten this down. All right, then we're going to torque this. We can just, I'm going to switch. I'm going to use the wrench on the bottom to torque the nut. We're going to torque the nut to 17 foot-pounds. Grab the tire, line it up, install the lug nuts. Now we're going to lower the vehicle down to the ground just so the tire is just touching the ground. Now I'm going to use a 22mm socket and a torque wrench. I'm going to torque these lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds. I'm going to do it in a cross pattern so that it tightens the wheel down evenly. Now I'm going to recheck it. Now I'll install the center cap, and I'll use my socket and just tighten these little caps down. Not too tight, they are plastic.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.